Hello, here we are back for Christmas in October this time. And this is part of a year-long series where every month we are getting together and making a retro Christmas ornament. So we've gone through January through September already. There's always time to catch up. You still have a couple months, and with some hardcore ornament making, you could have an entire tree full of new old school ornaments this year. Be sure and watch the past month's projects. I will link to them below. And let's get started with this month's project. Let me show you what we're going to make. For this month's project, we are making these cute little pipe cleaner people ornaments. And so you can see her skirt is made with the chenille bump stems, and you can buy these new, or maybe you have some vintage ones like I do. I always pick them up when I see them at yard sales and thrift stores. So her skirt is made with the bump chenille stems. Her arms, legs, and feet and her body are made with traditional pipe cleaner or chenille stems. Her hair is made with actual vintage pipe cleaners. So these are the pipe cleaners that I had. You can see I got them for 50 cents at a thrift store, and they have several different colors in this package. So you don't have to use those. I also have these are old school, real like pipe cleaners that the men used to clean their pipes with. Let me show you. They're smaller than the ones that you can buy in the craft store now. They're shorter and they're skinnier. And they're usually just white like this. Like I showed you, I have a bag of, or a box of multicolored ones. Here's another example, and yet another. Like I said, I always pick them up. But some of them, like these, have bristles in them. So I don't know if you can see that, but like there's almost like scouring pad type bristles. I'm assuming to make it easier to clean out a pipe, but these in this one are like a gold color almost, so even that would be cute for part of a pipe cleaner doll. So let me show you the other two that I made. This one is my favorite. Her skirt is made a little differently, but also with the bump chenille stems. And you can see here her body is a tinsel chenille stem, and their little faces are made with unfinished wood beads that we paint the faces on. She's got a black pipe cleaner used for her hair, and pink for her arms and legs. And then the last one, which I'm going to share in this video, is how to make this one. She looks like a little ice skater to me. But she has a little blue pipe cleaner hand warmer muff thing and ear muffs. She has long hair in the back and a little blue and white bump, chenille bump pipe cleaner dress, and she's just super cute. So these are really easy to make, so let me show you how to make them. The supplies you'll need are chenille stems, both bump and regular. I found this package that included both, all in coordinating colors. You'll need wire cutters, scissors, some 3/4 inch unfinished wood beads, a little bit of embroidery floss, your glue gun, craft paint in black and eye color. I do have white shown here. I didn't end up using it. And an artist detail brush. So to start out, I'm going to use a silver tinsel chenille stem and just the end of a sponge brush, and I'm going to wrap it around the sponge brush several times to get a little spiral spring looking piece, and then I'm just going to crunch it down, take it off, and then the end of it I'm going to bend up and I'm going to clip this off, and I'm going to use this part to attach the head. So I'm just going to go to where it would be in the center when it's bent up like this, and then I will trim it with the wire cutters. And then I'm going to use the white pipe cleaner, and I'm going to use this to make her legs. So just bend it in half, about the length that you want her legs to be. It's probably about 6 inches. And then those, we're not going to glue them yet, but they will go right inside the little corkscrew thing that you made. And so her head, you want the wood beads that have holes in them because her head will slip right on the end of that little piece you bent up. So let's make some hair, and really you can do hair any way you want. I showed you the one with the yellow hair, and I've made a couple now with black hair. So I need to add the hanger first, and if you look at the blog post that goes with this, I did not do this part first, and it was a little bit more trouble, but it wasn't too bad. So go ahead and do this part now. We're just going to use a piece of embroidery floss that coordinates with the colors that you're using, and tie a knot in the end, and then we will glue it down into one of the holes on the wood bead. And now we can put her hair on. So you just put a little bit of hot glue, just a little bit at a time, because hot glue sets up pretty quickly. And sorry I'm off the camera here. I forget what I'm doing sometimes. So we're just going to kind of spiral it around the wood bead to create the hair. Just go a little bit at a time, add a little bit more glue. You know, a little at a time until you get the amount of hair that you want. Make sure you leave enough of the bead showing so that you have room to paint a face. So I think that's good enough for mine, and then I will fill in on the top. I'm just going to glue the last little end down where I cut, and then I will fill in the top part with a little bit more. Traditionally, these little pipe cleaner dolls back in the day would have been made probably with spun cotton, heads, and I did show you how to make your own spun cotton heads back in the Christmas in February tutorial. So if you want to go back and watch that, then you could make them with their traditional spun cotton heads. Okay, so that part of her head is done, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue it onto the body on the little piece that we left sticking up. And then we can glue the legs in. So just put a little bit of hot glue on the top point of the legs that you made and just stick those up into the spiral piece. And then we will use the rest of the pipe cleaner that you cut off from the legs to make the arms. And they just kind of slide in the back, like in between a couple of layers of the spiral. And you'll just use a dab of hot glue to secure those. Now we're just going to bend the very ends of the arms over. It kind of creates the look of a little hand and also hides the raw pointy edge of the wire inside the chenille stem. So we'll just set her aside and we're going to make the dress. So I'm using this chenille bump stem, and I'm going to cut off just a few of the little bumps and cut them apart so that they're individual. Just cut them in the skinny part right between the bumps. You can make a skirt just one color if you want, or you can use two like I'm going to. I have this white chenille stem, so I'm just going to cut off a little bit of that the same way that I did the blue. And to make these, you just bend them in half and then twist the ends together. I also bend the ends down to create almost like a little hook. You don't have to do that part, but what I did with that was just kind of, when I glued these to her body, I just hooked that down in between the layers of the spiral. But like I said, you can leave that part off and just glue these directly to her body. then next I'm just going to glue those little loops that I made to her body to form the dress. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of the leftover tinsel stem and wrap it around her middle, kind of like a belt, and that'll cover the, if you left raw edges of the little pipe cleaner loops, that'll cover those up or hide where it goes into the skirt. And now we're going to bend her arms where her elbows would be, and this will make her look cuter, and also we'll be able to give her something to hold. And then I'm going to bend her legs a little bit just to make them look a little more natural and not so brand new, because these are supposed to be vintage style ornaments, and a lot of times vintage ornaments are crushed and even a little damaged from storage sometimes. Now I'm making some little shoes. I'm just going to use the tinsel pipe cleaner, and I wrapped it around the skinny paintbrush to create a little tiny loop, and then trim it off, and that will go on the bottom of her pipe cleaner legs. I'm just kind of twisting it around to get the glue down into the fibers of the chenille stems real good. And now we're going to paint her face. And so I'm going to use some black craft paint, and then you can use whatever eye color you want. I'm going to use blue, but you could use green or, you know, brown, whatever color you'd like. And so this is what the little face is going to look like, and you can see her eyes are just, she's like looking sideways with some little eyelashes and cheeks and a mouth. And that's about it. It's really simple. So you use a skinny artist paintbrush and dip it into your black paint, and then just make like a little upside down V shape and fill it in. You can make their eyes far apart or closer together, whatever look you like. And now while that black paint dries, we'll use some red and give her some little cheeks and a mouth. So I use the end of the paintbrush and just dip it into the red and just make a little dot for her mouth. And then we'll paint the eye color in. So like I said, I'm using blue. You don't need very much paint at all. So just dip your little thin artist brush in the blue. Don't overload your paintbrush. You just want just a little bit. And then you're going to paint on the side of the eye. We're having her looking to the right, so in this instance we're painting the blue onto the left half of the eye. And then you can add some little eyelashes, just and eyebrows. Just do very lightly with your paintbrush and just little light strokes to make the eyelashes. And you want them going the same direction on each eye. So you paint the eyelashes going out to the right, then you want to do that on both eyes, out to the right on both eyes. Now for the cheeks, we're going to use a really scruffy old paintbrush. If you don't have that, you know, you could use regular blush and a Q-tip. But if you have an old paintbrush that's real scruffy, you can use it for this. And so you just dip it in the paint, and then you want most of it to be off, wiped off, and then just kind of scrub it onto her cheeks. Now let's make her some little earmuffs and a muff for her hands. So I'm using one of the vintage colored pipe cleaners, but you can use a regular chenille stem for this. This one is blue, and so I'm just wrapping a little bit around the skinny end of a paintbrush. And I'll trim it off, and these will be her little earmuffs. And just put a little dab of hot glue where her earmuffs would go and stick them on. And then we'll move on and make her a little hand warmer. And then the little muff is made the same way, and then I'm just going to slide her hands into the ends and glue them in. And then I think the last thing that we'll do is give her some long hair, because the hair she has, the way it is, kind of looks more like a hat to me, and I don't like that. So I'm going to give her some long curls in the back. So I'm just using a black chenille stem and just twisted it around a paintbrush again, and then pull it out a little bit so that it looks like curls, and then we'll just add it to the back of her head. If you leave a little tail on the end, then you can bend it up, and that'll be what you can glue to her head. So I'm going to make 2 of those and then add them on. And I'm going to make a bow for the back of her hair. I'm also adding one to the front.